Hey Taurus, I need to share something with you today that came through in this reading, and honestly, it shifted my entire perspective on what has been happening in your career space. I have been looking at your energy for the past few weeks, and there is this pattern that keeps showing up, and when I laid out the cards today, I understood exactly what the universe has been trying to tell you. So let me start by saying this reading is about your career and specifically about how things are going to shift dramatically once you make one crucial change in how you show up at work. I know you have been feeling like you are giving everything you have got and maybe not seeing the results you deserve, and that frustration is real and valid. But what came through today is going to explain why that has been happening and, more importantly, what is about to change. Before I get into the cards, I want you to really sit with this question. How much of your energy are you giving to situations and people at work that are not giving you anything back? I am not talking about normal work effort. I am talking about that extra mile you keep running when nobody asked you to. That is going to be the key theme we explore today. Alright, so the first card I pulled for you is the Queen of Wands and Taurus. When this card showed up, I actually had to pause because the message was so clear. The Queen of Wands is sitting here representing you, but specifically the version of you that knows your worth and commands respect naturally. This is not about being aggressive or demanding. This is about embodying a level of confidence and self-assurance that changes how people treat you. Right now, I'm sensing that you have been in this mode where you are constantly proving yourself. You take on extra projects, you stay late, you help colleagues who probably should be figuring things out themselves, and you do it because you care about quality and you want to be seen as reliable. The Queen of Wands is telling me that this energy is actually powerful, but you have been directing it in the wrong places. You have been pouring your fire into buckets that have holes in them. What I love about the Queen of Wands is that she does not chase validation. She does not overextend herself to prove she belongs at the table. She knows she belongs, and she shows up with that certainty, and people naturally respond to that. The shift that is coming for you, Taurus, is about reclaiming this energy. Instead of scattering your brilliance, trying to please everyone or compensate for others' inadequacies, you are going to start containing that power and using it strategically. I am seeing that in the coming months, you are going to have these moments where you are tempted to fall back into old patterns. Someone is going to drop the ball, and you will feel that urge to swoop in and fix it. A project is going to need saving, and you will think it has to be you. But the Queen of Wands is asking you to pause and ask yourself, is this mine to carry? Because every time you pick up someone else's responsibility, you are teaching people that they do not have to be accountable, and you are depleting the energy you could be using to build something remarkable for yourself. The Queen of Wands also carries this message about creative leadership, and Taurus, you have ideas that have not been fully expressed yet because you've been too busy being everyone's safety net. When you stop overgiving, you are going to have space to actually innovate, to bring forward solutions and visions that are uniquely yours. That is when people are going to start seeing you differently, not as the person who fixes messes, but as the person who creates opportunities. I also want to talk about boundaries, because the Queen of Wands is a master of them. She's warm and generous, but she does not let people take advantage of her warmth. For you, this might look like saying no to requests that are not in your job description, or not answering work messages at 10 p.m., or letting a colleague struggle with something so they can actually learn. These might feel uncomfortable at first because you are used to being the helper, but I promise you this is where your power returns. The energy I'm getting is that within the next few months, as you embody more of this Queen of Wands frequency, you are going to notice a shift in how leadership perceives you. When you are not constantly available to solve every problem, you become more valuable, not less. Scarcity creates value, and when you are selective about where you invest your time and skills, people start to recognize that your contribution is a privilege, not a given. Moving to the second card, and this one made me literally sit back in my chair. Because it is the Moon and Taurus, this card is revealing something really important about what has been happening beneath the surface in your work environment. The Moon is all about illusions, confusion, and things not being what they seem, and I am getting the sense that you have been operating under some false assumptions about your workplace dynamics. Here is what the Moon is showing me. You have been believing that if you just work harder, if you just prove yourself, More if you just give more effort, then recognition and advancement will naturally follow. But the moon is saying that the game you think you are playing is not actually the game being played. There are hidden dynamics, office politics, unspoken hierarchies that have nothing to do with how hard you work or how competent you are. I am saying that you might have been in situations where you did excellent work and someone else got credit, or you went above and beyond, and it was barely acknowledged, or you sacrificed your time and energy, and it was just expected the next time. The moon is revealing that this is not about you lacking anything. This is about you not seeing clearly what environment you are actually in. The confusion that the moon brings is not meant to discourage you, it is meant to wake you up. You cannot win a game when you do not know the rules, and you have been playing by rules of merit and hard work in an environment that might be operating on completely different principles. Some workplaces reward visibility over competence, politics over performance, loyalty over results. The moon is asking you to become more observant, to pay attention to who actually gets promoted and why, to notice whose voice gets heard in meetings and whose gets overlooked. But here is the deeper message that came through with the moon. All of this overgiving you have been doing, part of it has been a way to avoid facing some uncomfortable truths. If you stay busy fixing everyone's problems, you do not have to sit with the reality that maybe this job is not actually aligned with your values, or that certain people are never going to appreciate your contribution, no matter what you do, or that you have outgrown this role, but staying feels safer than making a change. The moon also represents intuition and Taurus. I am willing to bet you have had gut feelings about situations at work that you have been ignoring. Maybe you sensed that a certain person was taking advantage of your helpfulness, but you talked yourself out of it. Maybe you felt like you were being undervalued, but you convinced yourself you just needed to work harder. The moon is saying trust those instincts because they were right. What I am seeing for the future with the moon energy is that you are going to start seeing things much more clearly. The fog is going to lift, and you are going to understand exactly what dynamics have been at play. This clarity might be uncomfortable at first because it might reveal things you did not want to face, but it is absolutely necessary for your growth. You cannot make empowered career decisions when you are operating in confusion and illusion. The moon is also preparing you for a period of transition and uncertainty. As you start pulling back your energy and setting boundaries, things might feel unstable for a bit. You might worry that you are making the wrong choice or that people will turn on you. But this is just the moon asking you to trust the process, even when you cannot see the full path ahead. Sometimes we have to walk through the fog to get to the clearing. All right. The third card is the Ace of Wands, and okay, now we are getting into the exciting stuff because this is where your career energy completely transforms. The Ace of Wands is a card of new beginnings, fresh inspiration and raw creative potential, and Taurus, this is what becomes available to you once you stop draining yourself through overgiving. What I am seeing with the Ace of Wands is that there is a new opportunity coming your way, and it is going to require a completely different version of you. This could be a new role, a new project, a new business idea, or even a completely new career direction. But whatever it is going to demand that you show up with confidence, clarity, and focused energy. The scattered, exhausted version of you that has been running around putting out fires for everyone else, that version cannot hold this opportunity. But the reclaimed sovereign version of you that knows your worth, that version is ready. The timing I am getting with the Ace of Wands is that this opportunity is going to emerge in the next 3 to 6 months, and it is going to feel like a spark, like suddenly something clicks into place. You might get an idea that excites you in a way you have not felt excited about work in years, or someone might approach you with an offer that feels aligned, or you might just wake up one day with crystal clear clarity about what you want to do next. What is beautiful about the Ace of Wands is that it represents pure potential, but potential that requires action. This is not a passive card. This is about taking that spark and running with it. And here is why the first 2 cards were so important. If you are still stuck in patterns of overgiving and operating under illusions, you will not have the energy or clarity to seize this opportunity when it comes. But if you have done the work of reclaiming your power and seeing things clearly, you are going to be ready. I'm also getting that the Ace of Wands is bringing a much more authentic expression of your talents. Whatever this new direction is, it is going to feel more aligned with who you actually are versus who you have been trying to be to please others. You have been molding yourself to fit into spaces that were never designed for you, and the Ace of Wands is saying it is time to create or find a space that actually fits your shape. There is also this message about passion and enthusiasm. Taurus, you are an earth sign, so you are practical and steady, but you also have fire in your chart, and you need work that ignites something in you. The Ace of Wands is promising that this new direction is going to bring back that sense of excitement and purpose that you might have lost somewhere along the way. You are going to wake up actually looking forward to what you are building instead of dreading another day of thankless tasks. One thing I want to mention about the Ace of Wands is that it often requires courage. New beginnings are inherently uncertain, and this card is asking you to take a leap, even if you cannot see exactly where you will land. But the energy behind this card is so supportive, so promising, that I really feel like the universe is conspiring to help you once you make the move. Now, the fourth card is the Page of Pentacles, and this is interesting because we have gone from fire energy back to earth energy, and there is a really practical message here. The Page of Pentacles represents a student mentality, someone who is willing to learn and start small and be diligent, and Taurus, this is actually the key to how your career accelerates. After you stop overgiving, here is what I mean. When you are constantly overextending yourself, taking on responsibilities that are not yours, solving everyone's problems, you do not actually have time to learn and grow in the areas that matter for your advancement. You are maintaining everyone else's success, but you are not building your own skills and expertise in a focused way. The Page of Pentacles is saying that when you reclaim your energy, you need to invest it in becoming excellent at something specific. This card is showing me that you are about to enter a period of focused skill development. Maybe there is a certification you have been wanting to get, or a software you need to master, or an area of expertise you want to deepen. The Page of Pentacles is giving you permission to be a beginner at something, to not know everything, to take your time building mastery. And this focused learning is going to be what sets you apart and opens doors. What I love about the Page of Pentacles is the humility and dedication. This is not about trying to be impressive or proving you already know everything. This is about having the confidence to say, I want to get really good at this, and I'm willing to put in the work. And Taurus, you have the perfect temperament for this because you are naturally patient and thorough. When you are not scattered across 100 different obligations, you can really sink into something and become genuinely skilled. I am also seeing that the Page of Pentacles represents a more strategic approach to your career. Instead of just saying yes to everything that comes your way, you are going to become much more intentional about what opportunities you pursue. You are going to ask yourself, does this help me build toward where I want to go? Does this develop skills that matter for my future? If the answer is no, you are going to have the wisdom to decline. The Page of Pentacles also carries this message about tangible results and practical progress. You are going to start measuring your success differently, not by how many people you helped or how many extra hours you worked, but by concrete achievements and growth. Did you complete that course? Did you build that portfolio? Did you negotiate that raise? These are the metrics that actually matter for your career trajectory. There is also something here about financial improvement. The Page of Pentacles is the beginning of the Pentacles journey, which ultimately leads to abundance and stability. As you become more skilled and strategic about your career, your income is going to start reflecting that. You might get a raise or better job offer or start a side income stream. But the financial energy is definitely improving as a result of you investing in yourself instead of everyone else. The fifth card is Nine of Swords, and okay, I need to talk about this because this card represents the mental and emotional toll that overgiving has been taking on you. The Nine of Swords is about anxiety, sleepless nights, worrying, and mental exhaustion. And Taurus, this card is showing me that you have been carrying a level of stress that is not sustainable. I am seeing those nights where you cannot shut your brain off because you are replaying work situations or worrying about projects or feeling anxious about whether you did enough. The Nine of Swords is the card of the person who lies awake at 3 a.m. going over everything they said in a meeting, or stressing about an email they sent, or feeling guilty for not helping with something that was not even their responsibility. Here is what the Nine of Swords is revealing. All of this anxiety is not just about work stress, it is specifically about the impossible standards you have been holding yourself to. You have been trying to be everything for everyone, and the mental burden of that is crushing. Every time you take on something extra, you are adding another thing too. Worrying about another ball to keep in the air another way, you could potentially fail or disappoint. The message I'm getting is that the Nine of Swords is actually a turning point card. This level of anxiety and mental exhaustion is what is going to finally push you to make changes. You cannot keep going like this, and on some level, you know that the discomfort of the Nine of Swords is going to become greater than the discomfort of setting boundaries and saying no, and that is when the transformation really begins. What I want you to understand about the Nine of Swords is that the anxiety it represents is often worse than the actual reality. You have been catastrophizing about what will happen if you stop overgiving. You worrying that people will be disappointed or angry, or that you will lose respect or opportunities. But the reality is that most of these fears are exaggerated. The Nine of Swords is asking you to question your anxious thoughts to reality test them instead of accepting them as truth. I am also seeing that the Nine of Swords is connected to a need for better mental health practices. As you go through this transition of reclaiming your energy and changing your work patterns, you are going to need to actively manage your stress and anxiety. This might mean therapy or meditation, or setting firm boundaries around work hours, or just giving yourself permission to rest without feeling guilty. Your mental well-being has to become a priority. The future message with the Nine of Swords is that this intense anxiety is temporary. As you implement the changes the previous cards have been pointing toward, as you stop overgiving and start focusing on your own growth. As you set boundaries and invest in yourself, the mental burden is going to lift. You are going to sleep better, wearing less, feel more at peace. But you have to go through the discomfort of change to get there. The final card is the Empress and Taurus. I am so happy. This is where we land, because the Empress is your card as a Taurus, and she represents the ultimate outcome of this entire journey. The Empress is about abundance, fertility, creativity, and enjoying the fruits of your labor, and she's showing me that once you stop depleting yourself through overgiving, your career is going to flourish in ways you cannot even imagine right now. The Empress sits in her garden surrounded by abundance, not because she struggled and sacrificed and gave everything away, but because she created the right conditions for growth and then allowed things to unfold naturally. This is the energy you are moving toward. When you stop forcing, when you stop overextending, when you stop trying to control outcomes through sheer effort, you create space for organic growth and opportunities that come to you because of who you are, not because of how hard you hustle. I am seeing that the Empress represents a version of your career where you actually enjoy what you do, where work feels nourishing instead of draining, where you have time and energy for creativity and pleasure and life outside of work. This might sound impossible right now when you are in the thick of the struggle, but the Empress is promising that this is absolutely achievable, and it is waiting for you on the other side of these changes. The Empress also represents being valued and appreciated. Right now, you might feel taken for granted, but the Empress says that when you start valuing yourself, when you stop giving your gifts away for free, when you require that your contributions be recognized and compensated fairly, people will step up and meet that standard, or they will move out of your life and make room for people who do appreciate you. There is also a message here about creative fulfillment. The Empress is deeply connected to creative expression and bringing new things into the world. I am seeing that your career is going to become a vehicle for your creativity in ways it has not been before. You might start a business or launch a project or take on work that allows you to express your unique vision and talents. The key is that you will have the energy for this creativity because you are no longer giving it all away. The Empress is also about receiving, and Taurus, this is huge for you. You have been in giving mode for so long that you might have forgotten how to receive. The Empress is teaching you that receiving is not selfish, it is actually necessary for the cycle of abundance to complete. You give, you receive, you give, you receive. When you only give, you break the cycle and everyone suffers, including you. So, the future is calling you to open yourself to receiving opportunities, praise, money, support, collaboration, and to do so without guilt. The timeline I'm getting with the Empress is that this abundant, flourishing energy is going to really kick in about 6 to 12 months from now. But it starts now with the small choices you make to stop overgiving, to reclaim your energy, to set boundaries, to invest in yourself. Every choice moves you closer to the Empress energy. So, Taurus, let me pull all of this together for you. Your career progress is about to accelerate dramatically, but it is completely dependent on you making one fundamental shift, stopping the pattern of overgiving at work. The Queen of Wands is calling you to embody your power and know your worth. The moon is revealing the illusions you have been operating under and asking you to see clearly. The Ace of Wands is bringing a new opportunity that requires focused, passionate energy. The Page of Pentacles is showing you the path of strategic skill building and intentional growth. The Nine of Swords is acknowledging the mental toll this has taken and signaling the turning point. And the Empress is promising that abundance, creativity, and fulfillment are waiting for you. Asterisk, I hope this reading resonated with you. And if it did, I would love to hear your thoughts. Have you been feeling that overgiving pattern in your work life? Are you ready to make some changes? Let me know in the comments.